What's up? What's up? What is up? You know what time it is. It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record the Ball Hog Sports Talk podcast. We do it live for a live audience. We keep it live, and we, by way of our crew, give life to your weekend. So welcome to the experience that is the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Great week, a phenomenal week of sports, business, entertainment. So we're going to bring the three together and create what we do, the experience. This particular episode is going by the name of Terms and Conditions. That's right, terms and conditions. And for those of you who might never have come across that phrase, terms and conditions is a legal term. Normally, you would refer to something as terms and conditions as the particulars of a contract. Once upon a time in a former life, I taught contract law, and I always told each and every one of my students, don't be a fool and sign something without reading the terms and conditions. Terms and conditions, the details, the rules that apply to fulfilling a particular contract. But in this particular episode, terms and conditions are going to mean much more because we had a whole bunch of stuff in sports, business, entertainment that we got to look at the details, y'all, and see if the terms and conditions have been met or not. So stick with us. Fasten up your seatbelt. The entire crew is in the building. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk coming to you live on this Friday morning. Stay tuned because in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go, 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 go. Yeah, in the building on a Friday, you know what it is. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk crew. This episode is terms and conditions, and the details and the particulars of these terms and conditions is we got us a bad group of guys in the building, starting with the Central Time Zone. The man, the myth, the legend, he who shall be referred to as the Big Flow Show. What up, bro?
What's good? What's good, America? You know, I'm looking at us right now, and it reminds me of when my kids were little. I feel like we're the Wiggles, man. You got the green guy, the yellow guy, the black guy, and all the rest of that colors in your hat, whatever the hell is left over, whatever. Like primary colors should be there.
Primary. All the primary.
Should be all this. But we do look like the Wiggles right now, man. That's what's up.
How you doing this morning, Big Flow Show? You good? You ready to bring the people what they want? You ready?
Get the people what they want. Yeah, it's a good Friday today. We're going this weekend, start to enjoy it. In Chicago is starting to tease you a little bit, like getting 60, so we know that winter's coming. So it just means enjoy more. Enjoy quickly, because it's about to get real.
About to get real in here. And then on the East Coast, man, right down the street somewhere, we live in the same state, but our lives mean that we don't even get to see each other. But for the Ball Hog Sports Talk, it's my guy, ETP Ellis, the producer. What's up, my man?
Happy Friday. Just trying to, this is the last weekend of the summer, like we said, so squeeze out the last drops of that heat, because winter is coming.
Man, in terms and conditions, I should have looked at the details, because when my amazing wife influenced me to make the move to New Jersey, I should have paid attention to the terms and conditions, because in September, last night at the youth football practice, it was cold out there. It was frigid. I didn't know it was going to get cold this quick. But
brisk.
It was brisk. And this Florida blood just won't go away, but we going to go and make it happen anyway, since this is year 17, I think, of me living here. So I should be used to it, but never get used to it. Let's hop into some sports, business, entertainment, guys, because when it comes to terms and conditions this week, you see terms and conditions of a bet. I got to wear green today. I got to wear green, and this is not Notre Dame green. I want to be specific of why I'm wearing this green shirt. Now you're right. The Big Flow show, I did try to get sassy and wear a hat with different colors, but I'm wearing this green shirt because I don't own anything that says Marshall Thundering Herd. But I gotta wear this green because the Green Herd came into Notre Dame Stadium, and because they signed a contract and get paid $1.25 million to make the trip to Notre Dame.
And what they want.
I guess Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame football team didn't look at the terms and conditions because there was no stipulation that said that they had to lose. They didn't look at the point spread. They didn't look at the pundits that said that Marshall didn't have a chance. And not only did they take a bag, take 1.25, but they took a heart. They took a
W.
They took a dub and controlled the line of scrimmage. Terms and conditions, yes or no. We both love our Notre Dame. And, ETP, you're guilty by association. You might not love us, but you at least tolerate us. Terms and conditions is Marcus Freeman's ass on a hot seat.
Nah.
No?
Nah. Hot seat? Nah.
Bro, he's the first coach ever in Notre Dame history to start his career 0-3. I know some people don't want to give him the first loss in the bowl game because that wasn't his team. But we are 0-3, dog. Is he on the hot seat? And I'm trying to be
I'm going to tell you what. If he's on the hot seat, Notre Dame will never, ever get another black player ever. Because after the Willingham fire, some people say, all right, we're going to give you a little shot now. Let's see what you do with Freeman.
Right.
But if we start having conversations about hot seat, with everyone else, so he's the first to go 0-3, but everyone else went like 1-3, this and something. Now I don't think anybody played Marshall, but we're gonna move that to the side. We're gonna put that little detail someplace else. But the first game was a bowl game. Who had a first game in a New Year's Six game?
New Year's Six bowl game.
Second game was against the number 2 team in the country. So if it hasn't not been for Marshall,
no, you conveniently skipped the third game. Come on now, the third game was against the Thundering Herd. They got me in this green shirt. We got to, look, I like
had it not been for this Marshall loss, nobody's really tripping about the first two as much.
Yeah, but the hangover of like they lost to Ohio State. It was I thought it was a respectable game until towards the end, and then Ohio State kind of put on the afterburners.
11
but then you come back the next week thinking like, okay, they're ready to party. Like this
first
is going to
be
this gonna be a season.
Coach. First home game as a head coach.
And then what happens? Like, do they think they're just going to walk in? Like, that's more of a sentiment of the coach wasn't able to get them up for this game for some reason.
But job security questions.
It's not the seat's not hot, but it's getting warm in here. But it's getting warm in here.
This man switched gods for Notre Dame.
Switched the gods.
This dude became a Catholic for Notre Dame. He's like, look, I'm all in, man. Huh? I'll take the Eucharist.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hilarious.
Yeah, he has to repent. He's repenting right now.
The Eucharist.
He's doing many Hail Marys right now.
That's funny. Before? He said he switched gods for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. And now we're talking about firing him. Do he switch? The thing is, if they fire him, does he switch back? Whatever he was. He become Pentecostal again? What is he doing?
I don't think they're going to fire him, man. But at the same time.
The implications. I like the conversation. I'm offended.
You're offended. All right, good. I'm offended too. All right, so to be clear, I don't think.
How long is his deal? I
think he's got a 3-year deal. He's got a shorter deal. Because
like I said,
shortly,
the seat's not hot, but the room is warm. The room is getting warm.
Yeah, and that's why he tried to switch the conversation by becoming a Catholic. This dude went and got baptized in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost.
No, it was the name of the Father, the Son, and trying to keep this contract. That's what it was.
Hey, his wife said, "Hey man, go get baptized. Hey, switch, become a Catholic, man." I'm telling you.
Hey, I hope he's not on the hot seat, but I will say this: that you can't lose. You can't lose to the Thundering Herd, and it wasn't just that they lost. If we're going to be honest,
it got stolen.
Marshall controlled the line of scrimmage the entire game on both sides of the ball, so that was disheartening, but. I'm in my green because the terms and conditions said I needed to be. Marcus Freeman, I believe in you, dog, and I don't believe you're supposed to be in the hot seat. Let me look right at the camera. But I'm going to say this. So. This week, around the world of Notre Dame football, with all of the experts, and I put that in air quote, that have platforms to say what they need to say, the terms and conditions of this job, Marcus Freeman, mean that they're going to be questioning whether or not you are qualified for the job. I believe you are. It seems that to be that the Big Flow Show thinks that you are. And that's not just because you're black. I think you're a young coach that has shown in the recruiting world that you're going to do great things, but you can't lose to Marshall at home and what is your home opener as a head coach. So get it together this week in practice. Notre Dame's got to play with now their second quarterback behind who got outplayed and beat out by a brand new quarterback. And that quarterback didn't play particularly well in the first game. So I'm not going to say it's hit the panic button time, but the terms and conditions of this job, of this magnitude, of the attention and fanfare that Notre Dame head coach warrants, says you got to do better. And so hopefully he will.
That's the part that scares me the worst, though, is that worse days are ahead. Like, you think you lost your quarterback who was just trying to get him right. And it's like, okay, the Ohio State, I feel like Ohio State should be nervous. That's kind of how bad the game was to me. Ohio State should be like, damn, they
was kind of sorry. Right.
We couldn't whoop these cats. I mean, because they had to come back to lose by a score.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad I missed the game. I was glad to be otherwise occupied. But anyway.
Well, I am forever. I love thee. I think that's how it ends. Love thee. I love thee. But love does not mean be blind. That looked bad. So let's get it together, Notre Dame. In another personal grudge match this week, I came out a little different. So as I wear this green, because the terms and conditions of my bet said that I had to, I ain't got nothing to say Marshall. This is Marshall. We are Marshall right here. In this green shirt, I lost. There it is. But in another personal grudge match, the Baker Bowl, somehow, some way, the Cleveland Browns were able to win that game. Baker Mayfield did not deliver on his promise and guarantee that he was going. What was his promise and guarantee, ETP? What did he say he's going to do to us?
Flush the doo-doo brown.
Make them pay? What did he say?
Make them
tough
pay.
talk.
Did he play well?
He played well. I ain't going to front. He played pretty well. They did not lose because of him. He played pretty well. So I think, I think Carolina's in good hands, actually. He played pretty well. I'll give him that. But Baker, touchdown maker or turnover maker, depending on who you ask, you did not deliver on it. Other NFL news that was noteworthy this week in this episode of Terms and Conditions, my brothers, this new contract that Russell Wilson got paid all of that money. The terms and conditions of a contract that big, to me, while it doesn't specify in black and white, you can infer from the size of the contract that the Denver Broncos put their faith in Russell Wilson. Is that fair to assume? Based on the numbers? Fair.
Very fair.
But yet, in the fourth quarter, on 4th and 5, after Russell Wilson was fish grease hot, I'm talking about he was hot at that point, inexplicably, their new head coach decided to attempt a 64, you heard me right, a 64-yard field goal instead of giving Russell Wilson a chance to get to 4th and 5. After on 3rd and 13, he completed a pass for 8 yards. 4th and 5, going in, he decides to kick a 64-yard attempt. Just for those people who don't understand how long of a field goal attempt that is, that would have been, I think, the 3rd longest field goal ever kicked in the NFL.
3rd or 2nd. 63rd, 63 was the record forever. And I think someone got a 67. Well, they're in Denver though. Denver is where you're supposed to kick.
Denver, Denver, and I think there's one indoors. They're indoors.
Yeah,
they were
Indianapolis.
Yeah,
but
Denver, mile high, you get a little extra.
You get a little extra.
I don't know what that dude was doing in practice though. The kicker might have been hitting him from 70 in practice. You never know. You think that was a lack of faith?
Yeah.
4th and 5 from distance. You feel like that was a lack of faith, or maybe he just thought the kicker could get it.
The odds say, because there's the cybermetrics now. The guys who y'all used to laugh at when they had the big old calculator TI 81s right here hanging out their pocket. Them dudes right now running sports. And those dudes, them nerdy dudes, said that it was a 14% chance to make the field goal. You had about a 32% chance to get the 4th and 5. So even if you went to the numbers said terms and conditions.
The number said, "Damned if you do, damned if you don't," is what they
Right.
really said.
Damn if you do, damn if you.
That's really what they said. There's some real bad numbers. Those are like if those are survival rates, we crying. We doing hospice care.
But
So,
I mean, you paid this man all this money, you don't give him a chance to win the game. I didn't like it. I don't know if it sends the right sign to your team that you sort of kind of believe in Russell Wilson. But on 4th and 5, if that's Tom Brady, ain't no way, whether it be Todd Bowles, Bill Belichick, or any and every coach in between, nobody is going to be able to tell me they're taking Tom Brady off the field. They're going to give him a chance.
Well, speaking of Tom Brady, the last time Russell Wilson was given an opportunity to win a game, he threw an interception in the end zone. So maybe,
yeah, but that's a good point.
Cybermetrics
say give the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but
hit the ball. That's really
gonna lose this Super
Where
Bowl.
was Marshawn? That's the real question. Where was Marshawn Lynch?
Something should have gave, man. I thought it was a slap in Russell Wilson's face. Here he is. He is going hard.
Maybe
for
he
them.
did one of these. Hey,
you think he called himself out?
I don't have it. How much time is that?
Look, man, we started off the show talking about my man Marcus Freeman on the hot seat and just the optics of it. The black coach at Notre Dame, and now this black quarterback, just the optics of it, man. Like the greats, the best quarterbacks in the NFL, you give them a chance to win that game. And the optics of it, to me, just look bad. It's not about black and white, but how dare I not at least acknowledge the terms and conditions of how it looks from an optic standpoint. The court of public opinion says you put the ball in Russell Wilson's hand. And the fact that you didn't, you said something without saying something, and now the team has to deal with that belief that you don't have the belief. Just my 2 cents. Man, am I looking too deep into it? I don't know.
Deep.
It's a tough spot, right? Like it wasn't like 4th and 5, or it wasn't like 4th and goal. It wasn't.
How much time was left?
They had enough time to try to get closer. I don't remember the exact.
Like just get closer or go down and score.
They had enough time to go down and score. I think they got the ball back with it. You making me know the details and
no, I'm
this
sorry.
episode terms and conditions. I don't remember exactly.
My wife has Lifetime on, and I'm not tough enough to.
No, it was a great game. Great game. You missed a great game. Yeah, great. So you can't even grab the remote.
Sometimes I'm not tough enough to grab the remote.
Hey, sometimes you gotta pretend like you sat on it.
There was 20 seconds on the clock. 20 seconds.
See, that's the thing that's kind of tough. So they're that far away, 20 seconds. Things can go wrong. So
what can go wrong in 20
like
seconds?
you have to pull like 3 rabbits out the hat to even get there, right? Like, but if they get the first down out of bounds, then they kick a closer field goal. Like that's a scenario, right?
Oh, be clear. I'm not saying like 3 points wins the game. I'm not saying put Russell Wilson on the field and let him try to go down and score. I'm saying you keep Russell Wilson on the field to ultimately get to a better and more logical field goal attempt.
Right. So out of bounds play to make it a more probable field goal.
Yes, that's what I'm not saying they should have gone down and scored. But in 20 seconds, you got time to complete a pass anywhere on the entire field. The entire playbook is open. Because in 20 seconds, you have enough time to then get back to
timeouts left.
I think they had 1 left. And a
4th and 5 is hard to defend, right? Because you can go deep, but they have to maintain the first down. You know, they have to hold them from the first down.
Do I need to throw to the sideline?
So if he makes it, then he's a genius. He misses it, so now Russell Wilson. I like what Henry Davis has got to say. Let's talk about their OC and their head coach. Maybe they should be on the hot seat.
Head coach should be on the hot seat. That's why this take is about their head coach and that decision. And I just think the terms and conditions of paying somebody that type of money and the person being Russell Wilson, who has earned, in my humble opinion, the respect such that he should have a chance to go and get a closer field goal, says to me that buyer beware. Your head coach don't believe in you, dog. Instead, he would try what would be the 3rd longest field goal in NFL history.
B is one of those dudes, man. One of those dudes that get you into a fight at the club, right? Man, you see how he stepped on your shoe? He thinks you're sorry, man. He has no
gassing him
respect
up.
for you as a
I'm
man.
gassing him
Next
up,
thing you
right?
know, you hit somebody in the head with a bottle.
I'm gassing him up. You
He
better live
gassing
gassing
this
it up.
dude. He
Yep.
gassing like, come on, man.
Yeah,
He
and I'm
thought the
using
dude could
fancy
make the
words to
field
do
goal,
it.
man.
I'm gonna use fancy words, yo. The terms and conditions of this whole thing, bro.
The stipulations and it's just not working. Maybe he just thought dude could make the field goal, man. How about that?
My man
You
Henry
don't know what
Davis
this
in the
dude
building.
is.
What's up, my brother? Appreciate you guys. And it's a great time to say, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody you know. And please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and to our podcast. Love seeing friendly faces in the room and our live recording of it, man. And please keep them coming with the comments because it helps us think a little differently about each one of these topics. So I'll move on from Russell Wilson. Y'all think I'm tripping that the coach didn't just basically punk him and smack him in the face? He got mushed.
If y'all kick this week at the end, I got to let BB right.
Russell Wilson got one of these. Mushed him. Head coach mushed him. All right, cool. I'll move on and not try to create a fight. Other NFL recap stuff in this episode of Terms and Conditions. The Bears didn't believe that they are the Bears. The Bears went out and beat San Fran. They didn't just win the game. They beat the 49ers, which I was shocked. And so we got to give the Big Flo Show his flowers and let him bask in the glory of this moment because there are two type of teams in the NFL right now. You're either 1-0 or you're 0-1.
Or tie.
And you guys, the Chicago Bears are 1-0. My man Big Flo Show. Congratulations.
I'm gonna leave him up here for a while because I might not have to get to lift him again. So just bear with me. You know, it's a funny stat though I saw. Not a single AFC team won a game, and two AFC teams played each other, and they tied. So not one AFC team won this week. Every NFC team won.
That's not crazy. We won. The Bears. Won. I mean, the Browns won. We're AFC. We beat
You're talking about the AFC North because the
North.
Dolphins lost to the Patriots. The Dolphins are AFC.
Yeah, it must have been a division. Yeah, because we
must
won.
have been a bad meme, man. I read it. I didn't fact check.
We won. Hey, hey, we won, baby. The Browns won. But I was shocked to see.
Maybe that was that the noon late game. Was that late game? You know, sometimes the memes look so sweet. You just go with them. You want them to be true.
You want them to be true. No, we won, but most importantly, the Bears won. So in this episode of Terms and Conditions, I just want you to know when you look at the fine print of your fan application. Because you know, at the beginning of the year, people would try to go to skip town and be on another team's bandwagon. You signed a good deal. You signed a good contract. You signed a good quarterback, Justin Fields, who looked pretty good in week one. Of the two young quarterbacks, he definitely looked better than Trey Lance. Are yes or no? Don't try to beat around the bush. Yes or no? Are these Chicago Bears for real?
They're not for fake, but I don't know if they're for real yet. Scott Bibb, I don't know why they put your comment up there. I hate when people talk about the rain. It rained on both sides of the ball, right? Okay. It rained over there too. It rains in Northern California sometimes, doesn't it? I know it doesn't rain in Southern California, but I'm sure those dudes got some rain before. Like we the only ones had to deal with a wet ball or another team wet ball. For us, it was dry. I don't know. Look, they came out there. They all knew what time the game started, and they started 11 on each side. They came out. They 53-man roster, and we won. Man, stop trying to excuses all that stuff.
So the Bears are for real. Bears are for real.
They're not. The jury's still out, but they're not for fake. They want to know. They're the top of the division.
Teams. You got two type of teams.
If the playoffs started tomorrow, they'll be in it.
And guess what? Since Scott Bibb decided to make that comment, the Scott Bibb fandom of the world, he happens to be a Dallas Cowgirl fan. Oh. Y'all 0-1. So 1-0 or 0-1.
Cowboy fans always put their chin out like that. They always do.
Cowboys fans. They just, because they're Cowboys fans. Let's skip to another game because the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to. They won last night. Spoiler alert for those who didn't watch it. I don't do the Amazon Prime thing. I just can't do it. And for those of you who are watching, my man ETP having a little bit of technical difficulty.
I thought he just had the best non-blink status ever. I was like, this dude does not blink. He just was in there.
Yeah, we had a little bit of difficulty with ETP. He'll be back. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they are 2-0 now because they won last night. But the thing that I think is amazing about Kansas City is you talk about next man up. Kansas City and Andy Reid had some things to say about the turf in Arizona. But in week 1, Kansas City kicker got hurt. What does Kansas City do? They take a defensive back, Justin Reid, put him out there to not only kick PATs, but he kicks the kickoffs. Not only does he kick the kickoff, but the man kicks through the uprights on a kickoff. Now, I know we changed it a little bit, and they're trying to discourage runbacks, but to kick through the uprights, he's serious with it as a kicker. Justin Reid, I don't know what your contract says, but in this episode of Terms and Conditions, I hope you had something in there about if you ever got to go into a game and be a kicker, you get a bonus.
Right?
Because he was a backup kicker, an emergency kicker in college at Stanford. So I hope your agent was smart enough to put some stipulation in your terms and conditions to say that you ever have to go on that field to utilize your kicking services, you get paid a bonus in that game. Some sort of bonus.
At least a free cup of coffee or start something.
He saved them.
A gift card? You're right.
He saved them. And then, last night, I don't know if it was Kansas City winning the game or the Chargers losing the game. Justin Herbert in a Herculean effort I know he was getting x-rayed after the game. I think he hurt his non-throwing arm, but he looked in gruesome pain. And I know that because of the highlights, not because I paid for the Amazon. What's going on with the NFL, man? You got to pay something extra?
It's funny you say that. So I actually have Amazon Prime, but we didn't even talk about this. I'm boycotting Thursday Night Football because I feel like professional sports should be on the major networks and maybe ESPN, like basic cable.
Right.
I have Amazon Prime, but I'm like, man, I'm not encouraging this. I don't want sports to move to Amazon Prime, HBO, whatever, Paramount Plus. I don't want all that stuff.
Yeah.
All these free plugs go. Everybody, you guys just got free plugs for me, but I don't want that, man. Like I don't want to have to. I discourage it. And I heard it was the broadcast was trash, the audio was off, and then now Amazon Prime does commercials. Is that what we're doing now?
I don't know what's going on. I got Amazon Prime too, but the notion that I had to pay something extra to get a Thursday
I didn't watch it.
I was like literally, you know how at the end of those emails they say hit this to unsubscribe. When I unsubscribed quickly, not even thinking I do have Amazon Prime. So what was in terms and conditions? What did you have to do in order to watch the game? It was just too much for me.
I guess
if it ain't playing enough to turn to channel 7, I'm not doing it.
We have Xfinity cable out here. I don't know what you guys have in New Jersey, but like you hit this little C button and all the sports come up. And then I kept going over to the game and I saw the score and I hit watch the game. It would like do an error message, right? Because they didn't know what to do. Because this typically stuff that are integrated like Netflix or all those things, they don't really work well with the guide and all the other functions of the TV station, right? I'm getting too technical for this early in the morning on a sports show, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't work.
You said that. I thought you said I'm getting too technical for this dumb. I thought you were talking about me. But yeah,
for sports, I'm just going too deep. But the bottom line is, I couldn't click to it. So I found I was on Amazon. My curiosity kind of wanted to see what it looked like, but again, I was offended by the whole situation. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Yeah. So I hope that I hope the ratings go down and they take it off and they go back to regular TV because Notre Dame was trying to do that Paramount Plus. No,
theirs was
Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock.
I'm not interested in that, man.
Which is a streaming
sports
service.
Should be on major networks and possibly ESPN. If you want to do your own little TV network thing, I can get that. But all that service streamers, I'm not interested.
Thank you, my man Patrick Chalmers. What's up, Coach? Coach Patrick tells me that I didn't have to do nothing. It was free as long as you have Prime. I do have Prime, but I what does that? How do they know I have Prime? I'm getting too technical too. My thing is this.
I'm getting old and crotchety too. I agree.
Yeah, it's like, bro, tell me what channel to turn to.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Tell me what channel. I ain't gotta click in and use and let them know I got Prime and all. I don't. Maybe they know already because of technology. The fact that I'm in the house. The cyber world.
Wait, hold on. Bob,
I'm in the house.
B Brown has Prime. We can put it on Prime.
We good. Now that's him. We jest, but we ain't too far away from that. My cell phone being in the vicinity, maybe they know, but I ain't doing all that, man. It's football. Tell me what channel to turn it to. I'm gonna watch the game. I shouldn't have to understand the terms and conditions of my Amazon Prime status in order to watch a damn game. It's football.
What if I wanted to DVR the game? What if I got off late? They don't think about that type of stuff. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. So
boycott Thursday Night Football.
But the other story that we got to share, that we absolutely have to share with the Kansas City Chiefs, there are stories in the NFL every year that make you proud. And this particular story makes you proud because you always hear about the guy who, you know, was delivering packages and, you know, it was a UPS driver and somehow he got an opportunity. But they seem very few and far between. And then you know, it's a story and then it's gone. But when you have that, when you capture that lightning in the bottle, you should share it. And I think this week, the story of Jalen Watson with the Kansas City Chiefs, the guy who had the pick six, is a great story, a good feel story. Do you know what I'm talking about? Big Flow show with the what did you think about it? First of all, having a pick six, shout out to him for being in the right place and making that play. But they were talking about how he was searching for jobs after college, and now he's in this moment. So it's just good to see. Feels good.
I think, you know, every couple Super Bowls, typically you catch a story. 2 to 3 Super Bowls, you catch a story about what a guy was doing 2 weeks ago before they had to call him up. And this dude, this isn't a Super Bowl, but this guy worked at a Wendy's, and they came and did this. And so a couple things, I started laughing, thinking, all right, he's going to be – how many guys have probably worked at a Wendy's and say, man, I can play some football. I can hoop, man. I'll do this. You know what I mean? Running their mouth about what they can do. Everybody's like, all right, man, flip the burger. Shut your mouth. So this dude.
You trying to flip the hell with your flip turn. Flipping your hips. Flip that burger.
Flip that burger, man. They waiting. The line's long. No one wants to hear about how good you are at football. But you know how people were crunk at his Wendy's when they see that happen? That's dude from third shift.
Free fries for everybody.
That's dude from midnight. They went nuts when he did that stuff. So shout out to him for that, man. But you know, people got to grind out there, and it's real. I think everyone always sees like the glitz and the glamour. People don't realize how much grinding goes into it. And, you know, shout out to Wendy's, man. I might go get me a Frosty today.
Jalen Watson, baby, good job, man. Shout out for you to make every Wendy's employee who loves to talk about how good they were in high school, who loves to rehash the days of youth football when they scored 6 touchdowns against P Valley Tigers, who loves to talk about, man, I was a bad man. Shout out to you for giving all those people even more hope. The terms and conditions say that where you are in life right now, if you keep on working, tomorrow can be a better tomorrow. So Jalen Watson, thank you for proving that. Let's hop into some other things, man. So that's NFL recap from week 1 and the beginning of week 2 last night, the Amazon Prime game, we shall call it. Let's get into some other stuff, man, because I saw this week, we talk about Jalen Watson and after school, you know, going and working for Wendy's and odd jobs and trying to figure out what's going on in life. They in that situation, those type of players, those type of stories give you hope that you can strike lightning in the bottle. But this next story shows that if you surround yourself with the right people, because there's terms and conditions that we talk about in terms of these coaches, terms and conditions of the contracts that these players are playing under. But there's the unwritten terms and conditions of the contract you have, the social contract you have in a friendship. And Shaquille O'Neal, the Bruhs, this week adhered to and showed out. He exceeded any expectations of that social contract in terms of his friends because he is the person that was a catalyst for not just only him, but several other, I think 14 other friends or whatever the number was, to pursue a master's degree. Shout out to Shaq, man. That's real friendship. That's what friendship should be about. Now I know the story. What is it? The Big Flow show that it's the University of Phoenix, and they didn't have. They normally do everything
They
online.
only do online classes, Shaq. So this is, this other part of the story. So this rich people, this first world type shit. He wanted to get his NBA live and in person. They said we only do it online, and they said, well, if we're gonna do a class, we would need 15 people. He said, done. Now, I want to know, how did you listen? Did you send out a group text and say, hey, who wants to get a master's? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might come to town and be like, who wants to go to the concert?
It was probably more targeted than that. It was probably like, he asked somebody, this is just for example's sake, because we are in a group text too. But if I was at Big Flow Show, your dumb ass need to get a master's. You need to sign up. That's probably what it was. It was example purposes, man. That's it. Yeah. He added his friends is like, you need a master's. You coming with me.
I don't even have 15 friends.
I was gonna say yeah, I was gonna say it's impressive that like he has 15 friends with college degrees that are willing to go get their masters with him.
Right. Like, a lot of stuff.
That's crazy to me. Like I have friends. I have my masters. I have friends with masters. I have friends with college degrees. I'm pretty sure I couldn't say, hey, 15, roll with me to University of Phoenix, and we're all going to study whatever I decide we're going to study.
A weekend. Like this
right? It's a whole degree. It's a whole
year,
degree.
like a whole master's. Like I have a hard time putting together a barbecue with 15 people unless I do +1. You know what I'm saying?
And if you put together a barbecue, you would make sure it's not a potluck. You would just supply all the stuff because somebody's not going to come through with the potato salad. Somebody's not going to come through with the vegetables or whatever you're trying to come up with.
Shaq, it's time to get your PhD. Call me, man.
Right.
I'll roll with you.
You going to be in with me?
Shout out to Shaq cheated off those dudes? They made him. Hey, look, I paid for you.
Oh, that's what it was? That was the contract?
So they all had to do his homework for him. Like, part of this is you get my degree.
Yeah. While you there, pick me up with an MBA too. But I'm paying. That's a you fly out by.
I like Shaq and what he was able to do, man. I will say this to everyone here, because Shaq showed out when it came to the moral contract, the social contract, rather, of being a friend. So I would be remiss if I didn't say to our live audience, our friends of Ball Hog Sports Talk,
15 of y'all.
Right, I'm not asking you to go get a master's degree and leave your job and your family and commit to whatever they did, every weekend, whatever, get their master's. All I'm asking you to do is to like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know, and subscribe to our podcast and to our YouTube channel. Shout out to Shaq, the bros, for showing people how it's done, man.
Am I wrong for thinking he could have done something better than like University of Phoenix? Am I tripping? Like if you was gonna buy me,
I was trying to let that part of it just go out the window.
Like I kept trying to let it go.
Like, why don't you just get like 6 friends and go
to the house for a dinner every weekend for a year? Are you really gonna share McDonald's? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because he could have went to another school and not had to bring 15 of his friends who actually do in-person learning.
Yeah, but that wasn't the terms and conditions of it. It had to be University of Phoenix. That's who he has his deal with.
Because he had a marketing deal with them, right?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. He has a marketing deal with them. So, it's one of those things where Shaq gon' make sure he take care of Shaq. And he's but I'm not mad at that. The fact that he's a marketing genius. I mean, Shaq's on everything from insurance to Shaq's on everything. But at the end of it, the terms and conditions still mean that you could write on your resume you got a master's. So shout out to Shaq, man. I ain't gonna discount it. Even though
he said he got the MBA because he felt like people weren't respecting him in the business meetings. He's a very good businessman.
Yeah, he is.
And he wanted to get the education to kind of feel like people stopped talking past him in the meetings. But again,
but then they were like, "But it's University of Phoenix,
You and 15 y'all just could sign up. It's like, do they have to apply or do they just sign up for the NBA? Like, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
order the NBA.
I don't have 15 friends that just have the type of like. What if the transcripts didn't work? What if you signed up for it and you were the one guy that they said, "Man, hey, look, I can't let you in here, dog. Look at your grade. Look at your transcripts. You know, your GMAT score was trash. That's terrible. It's like being when you go to the amusement park with the kids and you too short.
Yeah.
You're the only one too short. You trying to get your whole. You're trying to get right. Get your weight up, man. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll say this because I see that my man Scott Bibb has mentioned it in last night's game because of our terms and conditions and me being suspicious that I had to pay more. I just watched the highlights, but my man Scott Bibb, and that's why we do the live audience because the terms and conditions of this is we're asking you to comment. So if you do, you might be contributing to the show. In this case, you are. He's talking about the tight end. He's mentioning the tight end Gerald Everett. And I guess they were in a tempo offense. The pick six that we're referring to, it's a situation where they're in a tempo offense. Jalen Watson gets the pick six, but if you look in the details, it was the tight end Gerald Everett who had made 2 consecutive catches. And on the play that is in question, when Jalen Watson has the pick six, they showed Gerald Everett trying to come off the field. He's gassed. He's trying to come off the field. And, but it's tempo. They're trying to score. And, I guess in his exhaustion, doesn't run the route to perfection, trying to come off the field. And then the pick six happens, a 99-yard pick six. So while the entire Wendy's third shift crew is celebrating their guy, Jalen Watson, the terms and conditions is in question when it comes to that tight end trying to come off the field. Yeah, we all been there. Is that too much? Should we blame him if he's gassed? Should we blame him, Gerald Everett? Are we pointing the finger at him and saying, dude, the terms and conditions of this say that you got to be in for a penny, out for a pound? Who cares that you tired? Are we saying that the terms and conditions of this new generation player, they just soft? I'm talking about Charmin soft. Because why are you tired? But let's ask. What do you guys say? We've all been in that situation where you are tired and you do the tap. Like you were saying, call out for the game, get out of the game.
Was he just tired though? Was he just tired or was he hurt?
It sounds like he was just tired. The story goes, and again, I just pulled it up. I was watching highlights, but it seems as though it was in the middle of a drive. He had 2 back-to-back catches. Right. One catch, it looked like the entire team is on his back, and he's calling to get out of the game. He doesn't get out of the game, and instead there's a 99-yard interception return the other way, what we would say is a half-hearted maybe route. My man Scott Bibb says in the comments, he gave up completely on the play. Everybody was gassed. It was late in the fourth quarter. What are we saying? Are the terms and conditions of that that Everett is to blame here, or fatigue makes cowards of us all?
If you're tired, say you're tired. He said he was tired.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Or when you go back into the locker room, fourth quarter, Gerald Everett is, because he was tired, we won't say he was the cause, but he is a part of that 99-yard interception return. You get back into the locker room, you mad at him? Or is it just part of it? We all been tired. I'm fitting tired, coach. I absolutely hate when I'm coaching AAU basketball and I see somebody do that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what language that is, but your ass gonna be in there until we substitute. We gonna do the substitutions. I hate when someone does that. But I was a person that ran a lot, right? I ran a lot. I was always in shape, and so maybe I don't understand just how desperate you are when you're feeling as though you can't breathe and you're gassed. What do y'all say, man? Are we looking at Everett like, bro, get it together? Or, he is a tight end, a bigger body type. It's a 2-minute drill. They have been moving. He had 2 straight catches. Or are we giving him a pass on this? What do y'all say? We go into the contract people and say the social contract that you have in that locker room, did Gerald Everett violate it by leading to that 99-yard interception return because he's tired?
No. He violated, I get it. You're tired. You're trying to call out, but that being said, if you're on the field, especially in a critical time, like you're a professional. You've done this your entire life. Like you gotta show up. Like you gotta go. You gotta leave. You got something left. Leave it there. You know what I mean? Like whatever it's gonna take. The taking a play off, like that determined the game. That determined the entire game. So if you're in a critical play, like you gotta dig down and bring that last piece of energy that you had in reserve and get it done.
Yeah. Right, I'm with you. All right. And just remember, everybody, we live on YouTube, so you could check us out there. Big Flow Show to you. My bad to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure they knew. What you thinking, man?
I mean, it's tough to see what led up to him being that tired. Had he been running?
It was a 2-minute drill. It was a 2-minute drill, and he had 2 catches on the drive, and 1 catch. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but it seemed like all 11 defenders somehow made it to the ball and tackled him. But it's a crucial 2-minute drive. So
you never want to see somebody give up, right? Whatever. But maybe the play that we thought that he had that last juice was the last 2 plays. But 2-minute drill, if it wasn't that long of a drive, how tired can you get? Like, did he run a go route on every route? So it's tough. Yeah. But you should never quit. But he also wonders, the dude not running a route like that, why would you throw the ball to him? Was he the best option?
I think he was, I think at the time Justin Herbert was already hurt.
Well, Justin Herbert, he broke his ribs or whatever.
That dude, he's tough.
I got broken ribs through the ball, but you're tired and you can't chase him. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
not acceptable.
All right, so y'all gonna take him to the front of the congregation, and y'all gonna chastise my man Gerald Everett. I can't say that, man. I just think that, a tight end body, and if you're tired, you're tired. And yeah, you couldn't sub him out because that means you're giving Kansas City a chance, the Kansas City defense a chance to make some changes as well. But when it comes to terms and conditions, man, there are things that are in your contract, and then there are things that are just the social norms. So I'm imagining in the locker room, he was met with some of the same tension that is shared here, right? Somebody might want to shoot Brother Fade. Like, you the reason we lost. But I don't know, because this day and age, terms and conditions, these cats don't really see it like that. Gerald Everett, get in shape, man. Stop smoking Newports and
stop eating at Wendy's.
The two were related.
I'm breaking on this ball. This man he was at the dollar menu every day. I'm breaking on this ball. I know there's no way he's got anything left.
At the risk of sounding old, though, I do think that that's something that even the fact that I'm even willing to entertain. Hey, he was just tired. I have adjusted my understanding of these new age players, man. But I digress. We were talking about Shaq and getting his friends a master's degree, or being instrumental in making sure they got a master's degree. There's another businessman who I want to talk about from the NBA, and it's none other than, because in this episode of Terms and Conditions, he signed a deal. I'm talking about a mega deal. It's none other than the one who looks like he's 8 years old. Now I give him 12 years old. Steph Curry. Steph Curry just signed a lifetime deal. A lifetime deal worth $1 billion. That's right, with a big old B. $1 billion with Under Armour. And we talked about the lifetime deals that Michael Jordan has, the lifetime deals that LeBron James has. But now you got Steph Curry and Under Armour. And at one point, people were really hot on those Under Armour shoes, the SCs. But even naming the shoe, that's not really that exciting. Under Armour. SC, can we do better? Anyway, I digress. $1 billion lifetime deal. Steph Curry is now in that other upper echelon, man. He's not only the Mount Rushmore of basketball players, and I know by saying that I'm opening myself up for some blowback. He's not only on the Mount Rushmore, and we've extended it beyond 4 heads in this case, but he's in that other category, being the all-time best shooter, 3-point shooter ever in the NBA. He's in that other that upper echelon in terms of his impact on the game. Steph Curry made it okay for you to take one step past half court and launch the ball. He's on that other category, the upper echelon of players that you had to change the entire game because of. How do you defend? But now he's on the other stratosphere in the upper room, if you will, of businessmen. Love to see it. What do you guys think about it? Steph Curry, $1 billion deal, Under Armour. It's not gonna make me buy any Under Armours, but I'm sure that maybe Under Armour gets hot again and kids go out and buy it in droves. But regardless, he got his money. The terms and conditions say it's lifetime and it's $1 billion. What do y'all think about Steph Curry?
It's good for him, you know. It's definitely good for him.
That's the understatement of the year. It's good for him. You got $1 billion.
It's not bad. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, you
could have held out for 1.1. I mean,
yeah,
it is the rest of his life.
Boy.
I mean, inflation's at an all-time high. Maybe he should have negotiated something a little bit more lucrative.
Job security.
No, but I mean, the thing about Under Armour is they went through a time period around the time when they signed him, or when he had a good couple years early on, you know, when the Dubs were kind of becoming a dynasty, and Under Armour just started unloading the bags to all types of endorsement deals, all types of merch deals. They had Major League Baseball. They had to walk away from that. So they were overspending crazy when they were hot at the moment, because they transitioned into being more than just these like performance athletic wear. And so they're like, all right, we're going to sponsor everybody. We're going to sponsor Notre Dame. We're going to sponsor Major League Baseball. We're going to have Steph Curry. We're going to blow this up. We're going to have 1 million AAU teams that help, you know, get these shoes out there so that we build this whole new challenger brand. So I'm not surprised they did it. He's like the only mainstay for them from a partnership standpoint. And obviously, being that they're on the West Coast, being that, you know, the Warriors are very popular in China, I'm sure it's relatively successful for them. We'll see if he ends up getting into golf, but then there's a whole golf line that they can probably do with Under Armour. So I don't know if $1 billion will be a lot of money in 10 years. So maybe Under Armour got a deal, but LeBron signed $1 billion deal with Nike, and now it's feeling like he got underpaid excessively.
Very fair. But Nike, yes. I'll give you that. Big Flow Show, what you got for me, man? What you think the $1 billion?
See somebody every time I see the Steph Curry shoe, it's a meme. Somebody said it was like an orthopedic shoe. I mean, the way they talk about them,
not on the same day. Come on, the terms and conditions of this, you can't do this on the same day. The man just signed a life. You gonna, what are those? You gonna give him that?
I'm gonna do one of those.
Too
yeah,
soon.
the one of those. So my thing is like, it must just be for him, just who he is as a person, because I would think that the school deals are more lucrative. You know what I mean? You attach your brand to the whole school. So I love that. I like Steph Curry. I like the fact he got paid. So let's just start there. I don't care what their return on their investment is, but you just are like, God, $1 billion for the rest of your life. And I haven't seen a pair of dudes as Steph Curry's in a while. So it must be something else he's doing. I know you guys talked about, you know, his golf. He might have a golf line, come on, do whatever. So get paid, make that money. People throwing on that
young Steph
$1 billion like it's nothing anymore. I'm still trying to get to $1 million.
Get paid, Steph Curry. Get paid.
They could have got me for half that. I have to put that out there. I have to put that.
I mean, if this is a bidding war,
could have got me for half that.
I'm happy to undercut that by at least $1 million.
And I give you like, hey, I'll give you lifetime, and I come back after death and give it to you. Even when I die, you can use my image.
Hey,
you run your commercials on my tombstone for eternity.
Right.
If he's like goes in like hospice care, do they have to just start paying that up?
Straight up, he's gonna be.
How does that go?
I'll say this: that you make a good point, ETP, when you talk about Under Armour and what they were doing at that time is taking on the Goliath that was Nike. They were taking on the Goliath's little brother that was Adidas. And Under Armour was able to do it. They were able to become at least a household brand in a shorter amount of time because of, this is my opinion, because of the Steph Curry effect. What I think they also did, and that's why I think Steph Curry doesn't get enough credit about like his impact on the game. He had an amazing impact in the game, but Under Armour's affiliation with Steph Curry the impact on making other brands commit to something similar. Because now that's what Puma is doing. That's what New Balance is doing. New Balance went and got Kawhi Leonard and tried to turn into what do they call a lifestyle brand. Puma has now signed a few people. I see Skylar Diggins, shout out to Skylar Diggins, has her own brand now, but they tried to infiltrate through sports with a marquee spokesperson, one of the figures that people gravitated to, and also create a lifestyle brand. So whatever we might say about what you call orthopedic shoes, the what are those from an aesthetic standpoint? Maybe we don't like the shoes, but I love the deal. Shout out to Steph Curry. A Billy.
But one thing additionally to mention, so early in Steph's career, he had serious ankle issues, right? He's not had, I mean, they said he was going to be done in like the first few years of his career because he had weak ankles and all of this.
They call him wankles.
Wankles. Technical. Sorry, I did not know the technical term.
Yeah.
But he hasn't had any real. I mean, he got his ankles rolled on in Boston last year, but he hasn't had any real ankle issues where, like, when Zion, his shoe blew up when he was at Duke because he was wearing one of the Kyrie shoes. They're like, oh my God.
I got to preempt this. You're not going to call him orthopedic shoes because he had.
I'm not saying they're orthopedic shoes. I'm just saying it's a testament to the quality of the footwear because he hasn't had any issues.
Because Nike didn't take a big enough hit for that.
Yeah, they did not.
And then he hurt his knee. He came back and hurt his knee.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, Nike. Yeah.
They didn't take enough.
But that's because when you are Goliath and you've got enough marketing out there, you got enough product out there, and everybody's wearing your product.
Yeah.
It was just, we talked about it for 28 seconds and we moved on. And then what's even more interesting is Zion ended up signing a Nike deal.
Right.
After all of that, everybody wanted Zion. And he ended up going.
It was one shoe. What are you going to do? It was one shoe.
What do you need?
We're going to judge you for one shoe? I judge you for the check you write me.
So let's go to the other billionaire because I want to make sure.
Foot.
Say again.
And then broke his foot.
And then broke.
Zion might should have signed a Puma deal.
Maybe.
or Under Armour for the orthopedic support.
We get somewhere now. Thinking about that money, all that glitter ain't gold.
Okay, all that glitter ain't gold. I want to move into another billionaire, man, because I thank you for that ETP because you put sort of the marketing and branding touch to that I couldn't have done that, but we'll see where Under Armour goes from here because that is what it's all about, brand building, and the fact that we're talking about it, Under Armour's done something right. The fact that Under Armour has some of these deals, look, Big Flo show, your son's a Northwestern football player. They're rocking Under Armour.
All day.
Boston College, rocking Under Armour. Maryland, Under Armour. Notre Dame, Under Armour. And they went in a different direction, not only for the spokespeople, because Steph Curry, while a great three-point shooter, he wasn't a high-flying, scoring dunker that normally was getting these shoe deals. He was the schoolboy-looking kid or young man that all the kids related to. That wasn't typical for a person that would get a type of deal like that. So I think Under Armour, they figured it out. They figured out their niche, and we'll see where it goes from here. The other person that we think of when synonymous with lifetime deals, synonymous with being associated with the overall value of a shoe company is Miguel Jordan. Michael Jordan is in the news this week because somebody out there spent $10.1 million. And sorry, we left out the 0.1. And the 0.1 being $100,000. $10.1 million for an auction jersey. The game won 1998. I didn't even look at the details of that game. That must have been a hell of a game. The 1998 finals. And
And tax. It's to pay the tax. That's just the tax.
I couldn't even afford the 100,000 that we admitted. I couldn't afford that for that jersey. You know what I mean? Not without moving some things around. The way my accounts are set. What's the famous black saying? Big Flow Show.
The way my check come in, the way my check come in. Like, the hell does your check come in, man? See, it was the 1st or 15th or every 2 weeks.
The way my check come in. I couldn't even afford the 100,000. But somebody spent $10.1 million on a jersey, bro. And I love Michael Jordan, bro. Michael J. Jordan, please don't forget the J. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, I love me some Michael Jeffrey Jordan, but his jersey, how's it worth $10.1 million, man? What we doing here? And it is the highest auction amount ever for sports memorabilia. Of course, it's Michael Jordan, but at some point, man, like, what are we doing here? How much is too much?
Does he come to the house and hoop in the jersey for you whenever you clap your hands?
That wouldn't be enough.
He just show up in the jersey and dunk the ball.
Jordan, like the whole clap on rhythm.
Yeah, clap your hands twice. Jordan will appear and dunk for your friends.
Yo, some people just got too much money, bro.
I don't understand that.
Next time you got 10.1 to just give away.
Shouldn't he get a piece of that?
I mean, he's technically. I don't know if he didn't get a piece of that because it was auctioned.
He should get a piece in perpetuity. I'd like to say that word.
Maybe. I like that.
In perpetuity.
You just wanted to use the word. You just had
I've been trying to fit it in for 2 weeks now. Y'all
You got it in. You got it in.
Straight.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm straight. But for real, like $10 million, it only has value because of him. And he doesn't get any of it.
Any of it.
Maybe I pay homage.
Yeah. Hey, yo, so shout out to Michael Jordan. Shout out to the person that has $10.1 million to literally throw it down the drain. That's not going down the drain. I guess he can show it off. He's going to have it framed in his house, and it's a status thing. I guess it's like, if there's only 25 certain Bugattis that have ever been, or some of them are only down to 5. If you got one, it's a status thing. But damn, man. In the same world that we see all these people struggling, it's tough, man. In the same world we see in Jackson, Mississippi, they can't figure out how to get clear water. In the same world in Flint, Michigan, all of this doggone lead poisoning, that $10.1 million seemed like it could have been used to do something different. And I'm a big proponent of it. It's your money. You spend it or waste it or use it however you want. But damn, man, $10.1 million for a jersey that another man sweated in. He might have had a real bad odor day that day. We don't know what it is, but $10.1 million, man, that man literally might have wiped his butt after the game with that jersey. And now you spent $10.1 million to have feces on your doggone.
You done turned the story into something.
You going far. But
you've been going left today, huh?
We're talking P-Valley.
Where did you took your jersey? It's supposed to be on the outside of the underwear, right? When you put the game jersey on.
I'm just saying, after the game, he might have been so mad, he might have wiped his whole situation with it and threw it in the.
That's hater talk right there. I can't wait till my money get right where I can make more than purchases like
you better than me, man. I'm mad.
You make a good point.
Why are you so mad? Huh? Yeah. I got job day shit. Okay.
You make a good point though. There's definitely better things. I don't know about that, but he's definitely better things that you could do with that much money than to buy game 1 of the 1998 finals jersey. You could have bought game 6 because
right.
That one was a little bit more important.
Man, I'm sure
somebody. Could you imagine the guy who has game 6 right now?
Game 6, he's like, all right, we're going on eBay right now.
Wait,
10 million and 200,000.
Wait, they get a load of me. Let's hop into, because if you think about all the success, and when I say success, both on the court and off the court, that we just celebrated in the NBA. These brothers, we started with Shaq. Well documented what he did on the court, Hall of Famer. Well documented what he's doing in the business world. Then we went to Steph Curry. Well documented on and off the court. Then we went to Michael Jordan. Well documented on and off the court. These brothers, these black men have done it. And now we share this story where the owner, even the term leading up to the story pisses me off. The owner of the Phoenix Suns he got caught being a racist, misogynistic fool, and they ironically fined him $10 million. It wasn't 10.1, so he got a bargain.
So he sold his jersey. Is that what happened? He sold his.
Yeah, maybe he's the one who sold the jersey. Let's look into this
jerseys and sell it back to people. Pay my fee.
The NBA was like, it's 10.1. He's like, hold up, I got the way my check come in. Let me make me move a few things. And sold it for 10.1. So he's still chilling with 100,000 in his pocket. But in all seriousness, the Phoenix Sun, this owner is caught doing what we've seen, whether it be John Gruden. Over the years, we've seen so many people just get caught their hand in the racist cookie jar and being exposed. He's suspended for a year. I don't even know what the hell that means as an owner. But in the same episode of terms and conditions that we talk about these players that exceeded any and every set of terms and conditions as an NBA player, as a role model, as a business person outside of the basketball community, they exceeded it. But yet the owners of the NBA, right? We look back on the Donald Sterling situation. This reminds you of that because now the second most prominent or most significant owner of the Phoenix Suns is calling for the racists to resign. But it's just, it's mind-boggling that we have this story in 2022. It's even more mind-boggling than it was back in whenever that was with Donald Sterling. But yet, here we are again. What the terms and conditions of being the owner, the terms and conditions of the expectations of the NBA fan, the terms and conditions of being here in America and being black seem to continually be violated. What do you guys say?
I just want to know what it's if you own the company and you're suspended. What does that mean? Like you basically just get a vacation and you pay $10 million to take a vacation, right? Like I don't, and the whole thing is weird to me because Donald Sterling lost the Clippers because of pretty much the same thing. Actually, less because it wasn't even in the workplace. Like this was some girlfriend that wanted to get him, you know, that wanted to basically run a smear campaign.
Right.
This was like private conversations, which
she taped it, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, like not saying it's any better conceptually, but it wasn't in the workplace. So I don't understand how they were able to get Donald Sterling to have to sell the Clippers. They hadn't made it to the NBA Finals 2 years in a row or whatever, so maybe that has something to do with it. But how do you validate that as an NBA organization to say workplace environment? We've already have a precedent where we got this guy out for racism and all of the other, negativity.
Right.
And that was private conversations where this was in the workplace. This is in affecting people that are paid by your organization.
Right.
But all we're going to do is suspend you and charge you $10 million, which really is an accounting error or a basketball jersey for somebody of his stature.
A jersey. And get you a lifetime contract with basketball shoe anymore.
Why don't we say his name too? Because I think I gave him a pass by just referring to him as the owner, Robert Sarver. Because I think that's also, we've got to start putting identity to the racism and making them own it. The Sarver family needs to feel the pain and the sting of this.
That's what we need. Where do they make their money from? That's what we need to start talking about.
I don't know. I don't know where they make their money from. I'll look into that. But I know that they're minority owner. And when I say minority, just mean in terms of overall ownership. But based on his name, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably is some form of a minority in this country too. Jaim Najafi, I think.
What are you talking about?
I guess Jaim Najafi. That is who called for Robert Sarver's resignation. The number 2 person in terms of ownership structure called for his resignation. And I just hate to see it in any year, but in 2022, when the world at least, or our country at least, has told us, we put lipstick on a pig and told us that we're moving in the right direction. Social justice has been, championed by everyone. Every organization has if not created a chief diversity officer, has come up with some diversity and inclusion strategy. And in 2022, you still got this owner, Robert Sarver, and his infinite wisdom of racism being a racist. Meanwhile, eating financially off of black folk. And it starts to piss you off. Eating off of all of the women within that hierarchy that helped the Phoenix Suns run their organization. And he's around here just being misogynistic and being a bully in the workplace, and a slap on the wrist, a year suspension and $10 million, right? That in our world is $100. That in our world is, yeah, I lost the bet. I just had to wear a green shirt because Marshall beat us. It's nothing to him. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not in this episode of Terms and Conditions, right, when you look at the Constitution, when you start to think about how we amended the Constitution, when you start to think about our laws throughout this country, I'm wondering whether or not the terms and conditions keep being violated because black folk are still marginalized, women are still marginalized, people are still marginalized, despite the fact that we are the ones earning the Robert Sarvers all the millions in which he's making off of the Phoenix Suns. There are women that help run that operation that should not have to endure a misogynistic work environment. And it just feels as though the terms and conditions are repeatedly violated, and the consequences of that are slaps on the wrist. And look, we're having fun today, this morning, in this episode, so I'm sorry to take it in this direction, but this particular story does piss me off. I'll give you guys final word before we move into a different direction. I know ETP, you got to get out of here soon, so I hate to be Debbie Downer and turn it in this direction, but at the same time, I think that we can have fun, but we also got to call a situation out when enough is enough. I ain't even gonna use profanity. Enough is enough. What say you guys?
Go ahead, P.
No. You got it.
So when I look at the Sterling situation, when I compare the two things, the Sterling situation, you're having a private conversation. I don't know. I'm not going to I don't want to speak up for a racist dude, but you're talking to your girlfriend, you have some sort of things with her, and she sets you up and you lose. No, I wouldn't say he lost. He sold the thing for $1 billion. So he's not like he lost, but you end up getting pushed out. That's one thing. And I kind of had, my bad. So this inside joke, y'all. But anyway, so sorry, we have comments in here and we read them to each other, and it made me laugh. I apologize, y'all, but I had to laugh. I'm not gonna tell you what he said. But anyway, so he loses the franchise because of some private conversation with his girlfriend, and people had a lot of mixed reviews, black and white, over that. A lot of black people I know were like, "Man, you know what? You said what you had to say to your girl, and that's bad." In this situation, though, this is like a workplace environment. This is bigger than just the sport, right? It's just that you can't do this at any job, right? There's no place that at any company, any corporation, you can be misogynistic and racist and do whatever, and they just tell you you're suspended for a year and fine you some. No other workplace, but especially in a situation where you're in a small club, there's only a certain amount of professional franchises in the United States or in the world that you can own. It's a privilege, right, to be in that. You can't just go buy it openly. You have to apply to buy it and make a bid, and people have to pick you, and you got to get covered. It's a club, and they should have a higher standard for that. Monty Williams should not have to go to work for this dude that is now in a racist workplace. All these basketball players should not have to go. Monty Williams is the head coach. All the other basketball players should not have to go do that. So he should just be ousted, as far as I'm concerned, because it happened in a work environment. But it is what it is.
ETP, I'll give you last word, and I know you got to get out of here. And then just so for those of you who are still with us for the live recording of the Ball Hog Sports Talk, first I'm going to say, before I let ETP close out on this topic, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody you know, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our podcast. Please, please, please. Terms and conditions of being a friend, being a supporter. That's all we ask. Just give us that support by getting us out there even more. I'll put that out there And then go ahead, ETP. And I want to say we're gonna close out. We're gonna talk about Brett Favre scandal because this is terms and conditions. It must be a scandal show, and we'll talk about the WNBA. That's how we'll close out. ETP, I'll let you close out this topic on Robert Sarver and all his racism and all his misogyny and all of his whatever that cost him $10 million and can't go to a few games.
Yeah, I think what we learn in this situation is that the protection of ownership, like it's this very exclusive club that these sports organization owners they become a part of, and there's very little that gets them removed from it. So I think it just exposes, like, even to the point where you can have organizations that don't win anything for decades and they're not ever really challenged to sell or to improve or do anything, as long as they're paying their dues and they're, have the right relationships with who they need to have. So
Dallas Cowboys.
I mean,
that was a personal shot. I wanted to take that shot.
I mean, I didn't want to say the Cleveland Browns.
And we won a playoff game last year or 2 years ago.
But yeah, so that, that to me, it just shows that like this bulletproof ownership needs to be revamped, and it doesn't just necessarily need to come down to this workplace inequality and sexual harassment and racism and all of that. Like, it just shows that when you have this exclusive club that makes their own decisions, it shows that there's not really any true regulation of it. It's like, you're in the club, we're going to do everything to protect you that's within this club. But the irony of this all is everybody, like, this is what happens when you talk about white supremacy or whatever you want to position this as, the punishment, the ultimate punishment. People are willing to pick it. LeBron James is tweeting, Chris Paul's upset, a minority owner is saying this, media pundits are saying that. The worst consequences for this man would be to walk away with a bag of like $4 billion because he can no longer own the team and he has to sell it. That's the punishment.
And in a weird way, because as you're talking about the exclusive club, as you're talking about what his worst punishment will be, in a weird way, it feels like, and I hate using the word slavery when it comes to sports, but man, it feels slave-esque, right? The fact that you can make money by being so horrible as a human being, it's an ugly reminder of some of the history of this country and the people that made money off of the labor of others. And I'll leave it there.
It's almost like, hey, EPP got to go. Hey, E, tell us how there was a question earlier about finding us live on other platforms.
Yeah, we're live now. YouTube, Excessive Celebration. Just Google that or go onto YouTube, look up Excessive Celebration. You'll see all the episodes from past and current. We're live now if you don't have Facebook or if you don't want to be on your Facebook account. And then obviously after every show, you can catch us on the podcast, which we mention all the time. So anywhere that you listen to your podcast, you can catch that. And I think Twitter might be coming to play too.
We'll put the link to the podcast in the comment section of our show. So I wanted to piggyback off of that.
All right. Thank Thomas Herzog for asking that question. His comment was when he drives down the street, it's harder to use the Facebook app open. So it's easier for him to put it on YouTube because then it works like a radio. So
awesome. ETP, man.
Thanks, E.
ETP, thanks for your contributions as always, my brother.
Salute, fellas. Have a good weekend in the studio and everywhere else you are in the world. And go Las Vegas Aces.
There you go. And that is going to allow us to
and go Cats.
Go Cats too.
The last thing I'll say about that situation where it sounds bad is like I was just saying, like in London until Europe until very recently, they were still playing slave overs with taxpayer dollars, reparations for the slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that when you just said or when E said that the worst thing that could happen to them, make them sell it for billions of dollars. So it's like, again, I kind of get offended when I hear about slavery in professional athletics because I think if they had paid the slaves,
it's a big league. Yep. It's a big league.
If they paid the slaves, then there wouldn't be a dark stain in history, right? So like the only reason why it's big is because they didn't get paid, but if they got paid millions to do that, I think, you know what I mean, it would be a different story. So, but the connotations are kind of the same as like, okay, you're trying to get these people to, it's kind of more like the royal family where you got the people fighting for your, you know, where they have the people go fight a lion and go do all this stuff in the pit just for your entertainment purposes. And you might pay them or whatever, but still it's all just for the muse of rich people. So that does where it bothers. But the thought of like this guy could sell this organization and kind of get reparations for himself for what he leaves, it should be more than that, right? And I'm not a real big cancel culture guy, but I just say in any other workplace in America, if you worked for
You're
somebody
gone.
and there, you'd be gone, and there would be nothing for that person to get out of it, right?
Right.
There'd be
Right.
nothing for
There
them
is
to
no
get.
severance package. There is no, you're just out. You're
Or
out.
you're
And
you're sued. You're sued. Like the $10 million. Does the $10 million get divided amongst the people that he made the comments to?
I
Like,
don't know. I'm
should there be
imagining
some sort
because
of a
it's a
workplace
fine.
loss? I think that's not over. That they can't take that away. If those people want to sue him now that he's been found of this, I'm sure they could do a suit.
It's civilly, yeah, individually, yeah. But what I'm saying is, I think the 10.1 is, or the 10 million rather, is from a fine by the NBA. So I doubt that
Goes
it's
to
going
charity or
back to
whatever.
those who were
Mistreated.
mistreated, those who were in the line of fire when it came to this person's actions. But you know, it's upsetting, man, and that's the only way to put it. And for our experience, again, I hate that I was Debbie Downer. We were having a good old time laughing. I
Man, we're
hate that
still
I'm
gonna
being
have a good
Debbie
old
Downer.
time.
We're gonna
But we
have a
have
good
to
old time.
keep it rough, rugged, and
Keep
raw.
rough,
People
rugged, and raw.
appreciate the fact that we
Thank
call it
you.
like it is. We
Thank
say it
you.
what it is. If it's
Good,
bad, we bad. If it's not bad, then step up and stand in front of it. But since we're already on the bad track, let's talk about this dude that wore the jersey looked a lot like your shirt and my shirt together.
which one? Oh, Brett. I'm all right. So I'm coming to Brett. Brett's coming next, but I'll leave. I'll end with this, with the topic, because you talked about the in Europe and reparations. And then this week in the U.S., when the Queen died, anybody that dies, their family is impacted, and so we send our condolences. But some of my white brethren and sister in America were really confused by the fact that black folk was like, I don't give a damn about the Queen dying because of the history of the royal family as it pertained to black folk. And I'm here to share with you all as an experience of black folk in America. Sometimes the baggage and the damage that was done impacts how we view certain things. And I'll leave that story there. Robert Sarver, get your stuff together. Go on and get, because you ain't no owner if you can't understand the sensitivity of treating everybody right. Brett Favre, who I had the pleasure of playing with. Brett Favre, who I have stood up and defended when people talked about him. Brett Favre, the person that I've said in terms of
You're
really
part of the
loving the
problem.
game, and I'm mispronouncing it on purpose for
I'm
those.
saying you're part of the problem, is what I said. But go ahead.
I thought you were correcting the name.
Nah,
Yeah,
you mess
he's
that. You can
absolutely.
mess up anything, Green Bay Packers. I'm really right now. I want to take this shirt off because we got some Packers colors on, and
We
it's
do have
bothering
Packers
me.
colors.
It's starting to bother me. A little
You know,
bit.
but how did Brett Favre get involved in a welfare scandal where they are basically defrauding people? For they're
With the
stealing
governor's
people
help, that's how.
with the governor's help. In this episode of Terms and Conditions, man, I think there's just there's a whole different agreement with people that have access to powerful institutions like government. And there's also sort of an unwritten rule, terms and conditions of how the media treats it. Because I love Brett Favre. I do as a football player, and he was good to me. Brett Favre was Brett Favre, and here I am, undrafted free agent, trying to make a team as a wide receiver. So our paths crossed, and we were at very different points on the hierarchy when it comes to us as players. And yet he treated me well. So I'm going to put that out there because I feel as though, and I've said this about other people that have done bad things in the past, Brett Favre treated me well. But the truth of the matter is that anybody else, I'm talking anybody else in the NFL that dared to call themselves a quarterback. And if I put black on that, right? Because think about Michael Vick and the whole dogfighting scandal. And yes, we all love our pets. We all love little boo boo and little foo foo, whatever you call your dog. But he was in the midst of what culturally in the South was something that has gone on forever, right? But he wasn't defrauding welfare recipients of welfare funds. And yet the whole world wanted him in jail. When he was in jail, people wanted him in jail for longer. He got out of jail and really turned his life around and wanted to help people and talk about his mistakes. And people weren't there for it. To this day, people feel as though Michael Vick is the worst criminal to ever be in the NFL because of a dogfighting ring. Yet Brett Favre, in his terms and conditions episode of Ball Hawk Sports Talk, if you look at what the media has done over the last several weeks, because this story isn't new, we're just getting more and more pieces of this story. Brett Favre has been treated with kitty gloves when it comes to this topic. I've seen a few people, Shannon Sharp being one of them, be a little more aggressive when they're talking about this topic and attack Brett Favre and his actions. But Brett Favre, one of the best to ever do it, is being treated with kitty gloves. An entire welfare program in the state of Mississippi. He found a way to dupe the system. And this is how we talk about it, barely.
I'll say this, man. I think, first of all, to a lot of people in this country, animals are way more important than poor people, right? When it comes
facts.
to
that's a whole different episode, but facts. And I had to learn that the hard way because I'm baffled that people are still like people are really like Michael Vick is the worst ever.
The worst ever, yeah. They'll never understand it. And there's definitely double standards.
The life expectancy of a human versus a pet. The person's gonna live being poor and deal with the ramifications of being poor for a lot longer than little foo-foo gonna live. Can we at least say that? At least expect it.
I know. But just, it's a culture thing because, I mean, you think about how some people treat hunting dogs. They'll put a hunting dog down. If it's gun shy, they'll do whatever, and people don't have a problem. But whatever. I don't want to get too far down the line with the fight dogs. But at the end of the day, there's people who feel that way. But Brett Favre, and this goes beyond like the racial disparity between him and the T.O. reference that was made by Shannon Sharp. Brett Favre has been the king of passes. When he threw a lot of interceptions, they just said he was a gunslinger, right? Everything that he did that was bad, when he was holding out for and really holding the Packers hostage with his retirement announcements and whether he's going to retire and what they would do to Aaron, how they were doing it, not really much heat for that. It was, hey, he's a Hall of Famer. He needs to go out on his own terms. Like everything he did disruptive. When he was sending dick pics to the people at the Jets, boys will be boys. Like
the reporter from the Jets. Yeah, the beat reporter, the young lady. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, Brett Favre has never taken heat for anything he's done ever. And this is no different. People just love Brett Favre. I don't know what it is about him, but people love him. I don't think there's that many white quarterbacks that have as much freedom as he does. You know
Probably
what I mean?
not.
Something about Brett Favre, everything about this man, he gets a pass.
Maybe it's just that seat. Maybe it's that seat because I think their current quarterback gets a pass.
Yeah, maybe it's Green Bay. Maybe it's when you don't have an owner and you owned by the city and your colors are yellow. I'm this close to taking this yellow shirt off. This Green Bay Packers shit fucking up my mood. Between the two of us, it's starting to bug me, man. I don't know.
You good, man.
You got some of that green shirt.
We're still at accusation level when it comes to Brett Favre, but when there's smoke, there's fire. We're beyond accusation.
How do you get misaccused for that? It's one of those things. Sometimes you can accuse somebody of some stuff, but how do you misaccuse? How do somebody accuse you of having funds diverted from welfare to the college volleyball team that your daughter pays for, and you didn't do it? Like, how does it even come up?
I don't know.
How does that come up?
And I imagine that Brett Favre's attorney somewhere is trying to figure out how to articulate that. I don't know.
Been there. Who would even come up with that kind of an
It's a
accusation?
misunderstanding.
You know.
They had one of the numbers off on
Or do you think
when
the
they were
governor
trying to.
made that accusation? It was Brett Favre because evidently you said the governor was involved. So he's like, man, it was Brett Favre. He did it. How you get your hands on the money on government funds?
Let's just hope one of the numbers were off on the account, and it was an innocent
Come on,
mistake.
man.
Look, I love Brett Favre, man, but I don't love the fact that there are two different worlds and how we cover certain things, man. So I'll leave it there. We are at the accusation level, and here on the Ball Hog Sports Talk, we try to be careful that before accusations get substantiated, not to go too far in. But look, maybe it was just a wiring mistake between accounts.
So that's why they send
Maybe.
$1 the first time to make sure it goes through, and
Right.
then they come back with the
Then
real
they come
money.
back.
Okay.
But it just seems like where there's smoke is fire. And I think that in this episode of Terms and Conditions, what I'm more bothered about is it seems like an unwritten rule, unwritten contract of terms and conditions that give Brett Favre's of the world, and in the previous story, the Robert Sarvers of the world, a pass. And I'm sick of that. I would hate to see Brett Favre's life and family ruined because of this, but at the same time, I am a big believer in you got to pay for the consequences of the decisions that you make. That's the kids are watching us, y'all. They watching us. So we telling our kids that we got to live by it. Let's move on to the last topic of the day, man. It's just I want to mention that the WNBA, the finals are going on right now. We're encouraging everyone to support it. We've talked about the misogyny that went on in the Phoenix Suns organization. We've talked about the differences between the March Madness for men and women in college basketball, and we've talked about how the hell does the U.S. women national soccer team make less than the U.S. men's soccer team? The only way things change, people, is that the consumers go out, right? Free market, go out and make the change. So watch the finals. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's some good basketball.
It's not on. It's not on
Las
Amazon
Vegas
Prime?
was up 2-0. Connecticut won last night at home, so the series is 2-1. Hopefully, Connecticut can tie it and take it to a fifth and final game, deciding game on. I think that would be Sunday. I might be messing with the days, but check your local listing. Go support the WNBA. Watch it. That's the only way we can start making things a little more fair when it comes to opportunities for men and women in sports. I know my man, the Big Flow Show, you've got a young student athlete that happens to be a young lady, right? So you understand the difference. You've seen your son, who's also a student athlete, that he's a young man, your son and your daughter. You see the differences, but the only way we can change it is that we start supporting it. You and I have talked about the AAU world, basketball world, on the boys' side versus the volleyball world, and the amazing amount of money poured into that on the girls' side. So money talks, BS walks, whatever the saying is. Support the WNBA by watching the finals. Anything last words, any parting shots before we get out of here at this episode of Terms and Conditions on the Ball Hawk Sports Talk? Anything you got for us?
I got a 2-second topic I just want to talk about.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Le'Veon Bell, how he slept AP.
That wasn't right, man. I feel like I saw my two uncles fighting. Like, you ain't supposed to. Both of them are just. Le'Veon Bell's not a Hall of Famer. Let me be clear. AP's a Hall of Famer, but both were great running backs in their own right. Why they got them men out? Why y'all out here fighting? Come on, man.
First of all,
what were the terms and conditions of that?
If you escaped football without CTE, why would you want to go to the more CTE sport of boxing, let people punch you in your face? Hey, AP, you played longer. You came back from the ACL in quicker time. You did all the stuff. Then you hit your kid with the switch and that messed you up a little bit, whatever, kind of get over. And now you let this man sleep you on you. I didn't even know y'all was fighting. And they said that they had 22,000 seats in that arena and sold 200 tickets. At a concert, the act would refuse to come out. Is your money that funny that you had to let this dude sleep you? Right?
I mean, Adrian Peterson played till he was 173 years old, and he was very public about he did so because his money was funny. And I hate that is the reality for that brother. I think when he is, not if, but when he is inducted into the Hall of Fame, other opportunities will be available to him. He's not a very outspoken person, so media is not the next step for him. And it does hurt my heart to see these two brothers out there. But like, because you don't show up to that really. Y'all ain't got that kind of beef where you really just want to fight them. The only reason you're there, right? And neither one of you are boxers such that this is the beginning of a career. The only reason you could be there, only logical reason you could be there, is for the bag. And that's
they got paid for that. I don't even want to look it up because it's gonna hurt my feelings.
Man, they got paid 2 bus tickets and a pack of Twizzlers. They didn't get paid much for that. How much?
They should have at least fought dude off. What's the dude that get you paid?
Logan.
They should have fought him.
Yeah, but you
about to
get
fight
swept by Le'Veon Bell.
He just signed to fight Spider. What you saying? I will hope he get his ass kicked. Anderson Silva. Logan Paul just signed up to fight him. Anderson Silva gonna whoop your ass. I don't care. I don't think he's gonna take the bag and take a dive from nobody. He gonna put that big ashy foot on the side of your face. I'm telling you, that's a fight I want to see.
Hey, well, so 2 things. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say so. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford fight. It's been rumored is gonna happen on November 19th, and they're working out. Drum roll, please. Terms and conditions of what that's going to look like. But we finally gonna get the fight that we've been waiting to see. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. That's gonna be a great fight. We've been waiting on that fight. Who would you? I ain't gonna put you on the spot. We'll wait.
I gotta watch the 24/7 they do on the show.
Yeah. You can see who look a little more crunk. But we finally get the fight that we've been waiting on. This might be the fight to save boxing because UFC is taking over. And then I'll go back one more topic because I talked about the 2 different Americas and the 2 different worlds. Let me just go out on a limb and say, while you celebrated the Chicago Bears winning that game, all of the fans, there are 2 different TLs here. All the fans are now saying that Trey Lance isn't their guy after 1 game as a starter in the NFL. I mean, they are really going in on this Trey Lance. Yes, San Francisco is built to win. Yes, we thought Trey Lance was going to come in and do a great job. I don't think that is done now, right? Yes, weather might have played a part, but why after 1 game? Meanwhile,
same people that talk about firing a coach after 3 games.
Yeah, fair, but I'm gonna compare apples to apples, right? Because there's been a guy down there in Jacksonville that also has a TL acronym. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine has been garbage. He been booty on a stick, and ain't nobody said nothing. Let Trey Lance get into his role and play the quarterback position for the San Francisco 49ers without just getting them out of there so quick after 1 game. Those should be the terms and conditions of being a fan. If you ain't smart enough to at least treat 2 different situations the same, young quarterbacks, then the terms and conditions of your ability to open your mouth, shut up.
What about what Tua said?
That was hilarious. I mean, Tua was like,
he trying to fire himself?
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know what Tua
If I can't see you, you can't. He didn't even get it right. He didn't even phrase it right. If I can't see you, you can't see me, then I can't get you the ball. Run until you can see me and I throw it to you. Why don't he does he do the plays like this on his chest? Remember how you used to say, go by the car, come into the car, come back out of the car, dive by the tree?
Yo,
are you trying to get all short quarterbacks banned from the NFL by yourself?
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was talking about, but I was going to talk to a bad moment.
Concussion protocol when he said that. For those of you guys in here, he did a press conference and he was, I guess, flustered. And he was talking about the fact that he's a short guy and it's no secret he's short. So if the receiver can't see him, that he can't see the receiver. So the receiver needs to run until he can see him and maybe he'll see that guy and get him the ball.
It sounded really bad. It felt like when I'm trying to get the team, whether it be my AAU basketball team working with Coach Battle, or whether it be our youth football team, when we're taking a picture, I say something like, if you can't see the camera, if you can't see this thing, that's what it felt like. But you didn't expect that coming from an NFL.
Those guys get a snack after the game. The people you're talking to get a snack after.
They get a little snack. They get a juice.
Right. You're not talking to millionaires.
Look, man, this has been a great episode. The Big Flow Show coming to you from the Windy City. Sign off. Anything you want to sign off with, Big Flow Show?
Go Cats.
Go Cats. Simple, but sweet and effective. Appreciate your contributions to the show this week. This episode of Terms and Conditions on the Ball Hawk Sports Talk has been just about that, the terms and conditions, both written and unwritten. We talked about several things. We asked that you like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know. The terms and conditions of being a supporter, of being a friend, being a family member are very simple when it comes to the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Help us get to more people by like, comment, sharing, and subscribing. We thank you in advance. I am your boy, B Brown ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hawk, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Barazy. This has been the terms and conditioning episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. With that, it's Friday. We started your weekend right. Enjoy yourselves. Be blessed. Have a song in your heart and a smile on your face. And with that, we is out. Peace. It's going to be a little bit of a delay this time because, hey, when we don't have Ellis, the producer, in the building, I got to do it myself. But we're going out like we always do with our outro. Now we really out. Peace.